My name is Georgia.
And I'm Olivia.
And welcome to Nurse Ratchet. So today we're doing part 2 of H.H. Holmes.
Part two.
So as a recap, because this is a very long and intricate story about him being a fucking swindler and how he schemes and lies and plots and murders and fucking runs. I just want to quickly recap. So last episode, if you haven't listened to it, go and listen. It was basically his origin story, where he, grew up being a kind of weirdo, and he got into medical school because he wanted money, got married to Clara, he got married again to Murta, built the murder castle, and started killing people, including a couple of his girlfriends and their children. And so in part 2, there'll be a lot more murders, including his friend Benjamin Pitezel. It's been really fucked up
I've
story.
never heard that name.
Yes, you have, because I mentioned it last time. It's his accomplice.
Oh.
Yeah. Do you remember? He has an accomplice that he bailed out of jail with a fucking bad check.
I actually sort of don't.
Okay. She doesn't remember at all. So this will be fun. No, it's all good. All right. So we'll just continue on. So when the World's Fair was announced, Holmes decided to work on finishing the 3rd floor of the castle. So we've got the 1st floor, the 2nd floor with the apartments. The 1st floor has the shops and shit. And there's a 3rd floor that he wants to build. He took out a bunch of credit under the name H.S. Campbell because he has a million aliases to dodge all of his creditors. And he did this to finish the 3rd floor. And by this time, creditors were suing him for theft, as well as basically visiting the castle demanding their stuff back or payment for it. Like, they're chasing him down at this point. But when they arrived, Holmes denied he was H.S. Campbell, much like he did earlier. And he said he was Holmes, and all the furnishings he bought with credit he put into his hidden chambers and vaults, and they couldn't find any of it when they went to repossess it.
He's got chambers and vaults.
So they couldn't do shit. Yes, he does. So the 3rd floor was more the macabre and scary floor of the castle. The Chicago Tribune described the house. It said, "Oh, what a queer house it was. In all of America, there was nothing like it. Its chimneys stuck out where chimneys should never stick out. Its stairways ended nowhere in particular. Winding passages brought the uninitiated with a frightful jerk right to where they started from. There were rooms that had no doors. There were doors that had no rooms. A mysterious house it was indeed. A crooked house. A reflex of the builder's own distorted mind. In that house occurred dark and eerie deeds." They spoke so poetically back in the day, didn't they? It's so funny. I found a floor plan and that it's got labels on it. So it's like his basic blueprint. I uploaded it to Instagram. Did you see?
No, not yet.
So some of the labels on it said secret rooms, mysterious closed room, dummy elevator for lowering bodies, sealed room all bricked in.
Oh, my God.
Trap, which leads down to secret chamber, the hanging secret chamber, the blind room, the dark room, asphyxiation chamber,
Jesus.
the death shaft,
Oh, my God.
the maze, the room of 3 corpses, the black closet, the steel-bound chamber, and the 5-door room. That was his blueprint. So no wonder he never showed it to fucking anyone. That's crazy. So imagine this house. It would be a house of fucking horrors. And this actually existed. It's fucking crazy.
I'm just trying to imagine it, like, right in front of me.
Yeah. So the World's Fair, again, attracted a bunch of tourists, which included a lady named Minnie Williams. And this would be his 3rd wife.
Wow.
Love it. Remember, he's still married to Clara and Murta. She was an orphan, so she and her sister and brother were split up and shuttled around to a few guardians when they were little. Minnie went to stay with an uncle in Texas, and he was very good to her and enrolled her in an elocution school for high-class ladies. When he died, he left her a significant inheritance, and this is why Holmes is interested in her. Minnie had met Holmes years before at a high-class party in the late 1880s. He introduced himself as Harry Gordon, of course, not H.H. Holmes. She apparently wasn't the classic beauty of the time, but she was rich as fuck, so Holmes went for her. She was described as plain, with full cheeks. Anyway, despite the fact that she wasn't his type, Holmes paid heavy attention to her, presumably because she was rich as fuck, like I said. Minnie loved his attention, but after a while, Holmes got bored and ghosted her. Fucking men.
Ghosting all those years ago.
Still
way
ghosting
easier,
today.
probably.
So much easier, really. But you know what? It's probably not as obvious like in the 1800s because you'd had to wait for a letter. So they could have ghosted you on Monday, but you won't find out until fucking Sunday. Like, you know?
Oh, my God.
Anyway.
My anxiety could
never
deal. I would die.
Minnie was devastated to be ghosted. Girl, I can relate. Ghosting sucks. Minnie decided to attend the World's Fair, and in the process, she hoped to bump into Holmes. So she travelled to Chicago, and she was like, I'm going to go here pretending I'm attending the World's Fair, and I'm going to bump into Holmes, and we're going to, like, reunite our love. You know, I'm going to remind him how much of a full-cheeked hottie I am. And unfortunately, she did. And he was apparently thrilled to see her, or at least appeared that way, you know. He asked her to become his personal secretary immediately, you know.
How?
So she must have been, like, so fucking wrapped.
That's romantic.
Yeah, come be my secretary. Pay you way more than what you're getting as an heiress. Anyway, she loved him, so she went. But his stipulations was that she refer to him as Holmes and gave no reason whatsoever. Because, remember, I think he was like Harry Gordon or something. I can't keep up with all of these aliases. But he gave an alias when they met. And then when she moved to the murder castle, he was like, oh, by the way, people call me Holmes, so you can too. So she was like, whatever. She moved in, and unfortunately, immediately, she would catch him in lots of compromising positions. Sexually assaulting people, robbing people, all while he's supposed to be courting her. Holmes then decided to have a buzzer installed that would warn him when someone was coming so he could continue his affairs without Minnie knowing. A little bell, I reckon.
Wow.
Probably not a buzzer, but like a... you know? In 1893, he ended up proposing to Minnie whilst married to two women. Minnie wrote to her sister, Nanny. So it's Minnie and Nanny Williams. Cute names. Telling her about her betrothed and asking her to come visit for the wedding. Holmes and Minnie married, but not legally. There was no record of it. So they kind of fake married. I wonder if he was behind that. He was like, fuck this, I can't be bothered doing the forms again. Even though it was...
What's the point?
Yeah, don't know.
Ceremony?
Yeah, well, I think it was all part of a con.
Yeah. Okay.
Even though it was not technically legal, he still had very close access to Minnie's inheritance, and I'm pretty sure he was very confident that he could get it either way without a legally binding marriage.
Okay.
In 1893, he convinced her to put the deed to one of his houses in her name for some reason. Then he had her write to her uncle and sell a portion of the land that was going to be left to her for $3,000. He then convinced Minnie to sign over the deed to the entire property to a man named Alexander Bond. And a few weeks later, Alexander Bond signed the deed over to another man named Benton Lyman. Little did she know that Bond and Lyman were aliases for Holmes and his accomplice, Benjamin Pitezel.
Oh, my God.
Isn't that crazy? So
Did he have a little notebook of where he just kept all of his
Surely
fucking
he wrote them down.
bullshit?
Surely.
Oh, my God.
How could you keep up with all of the lies if you didn't just document them all?
Right?
Back then, women weren't educated about deeds and such, so I can imagine her love for him resulted in a blind trust that fucked her right over.
Yeah, she would have been like, yeah,
fine. You know, you're the man.
Sort it out.
You're the man. You sort it out. Nanny Williams arrived, which is her sister, in Chicago, and then wrote to her aunt saying that her and Minnie were going on an adventure to travel the world with Harry Gordon, a.k.a. H.H. Holmes. Going on a little trip, probably never to return. You know, August 3rd, 1893, a fire broke out in the murder castle, and many of the residents there believed it was an insurance burn, and to also get rid of incriminating evidence of things that may have happened to Minnie and Nanny. It's worth noting that anything that was worth anything was removed before the fire, like furniture and fixings, expensive things. Convenient. The letter that Nanny wrote to her relatives establishes why people don't hear from her for a while. Like it's sort of, hey, don't worry if you don't hear from us, we're going away. On the day the letter was written, Minnie had gone for a day trip to Milwaukee, and her sister Nanny went with Holmes to the World's Fair. It was the last time Nanny was ever seen alive, as she was forced into one of the vaults in the murder castle and was left to suffocate to death.
I wonder how he had that set up to make them suffocate in a vault.
Don't know, but he was an inventor. I mentioned that in part 1. Don't know.
He must have had some
It was like
creation.
an airtight steel vault, like a safe.
Slowly lose air over time.
Yep. Yep, correct.
I see.
What's worse is Holmes blamed Minnie for killing his sister. He said that she did it out of jealousy. He claimed she came home and murdered her sister in a jealous rage, so he helped her dispose of the body and then told her she needed to get help and he was leaving her. But what the truth was that he also murdered her. He later admitted to killing Nanny in his confession, as well as killing Minnie shortly after, the same way he killed Nanny, shoved her in the vault. Both women then had insurance policies taken out on them by Holmes, and he also inherited Minnie's estate because it was in his Alexander Bond name. So, yeah. Shortly after, an insurance company came after Holmes because of the fire in the murder castle. They suspected it was arson, and they came after him for insurance fraud. They knew Holmes was a dodgy cunt, and so they set a trap. They told Holmes the company was going to pay out the insurance for the fire. They said, "Oh, that's all good, we'll pay you," and asked him to meet him at the office to pick up the cheque, which Holmes did stupidly. Then he was confronted by the investigator and somehow managed to get him to confess. So he confessed that it was arson. When this was a success, many other creditors got together to do a mass confrontation with Holmes in a meeting, but Holmes skipped town before this could happen.
Imagine just being able to do that at the time. You just skip town so you don't have to pay.
Yeah, and they can't find you because, you don't have a fucking credit trail or anything like that. Like, you just get on a fucking horse and buggy and fuck right off to the next town and just give you a different name because they don't have online pictures of you or anything like that, do they? All they have was, those old school wanted posters.
Yeah, which were sketches, weren't they?
Yes. Yep, no photos. Oh, actually, there's a photo of Holmes. So, yeah, there was photos, but, you have to be able to get someone to stand still to take a photo, and Holmes never did. He went to Denver to claim the insurance payout for Minnie Williams' estate. And whilst he was there, he met a woman called Georgina Yoke. She was very, very beautiful. She had giant blue eyes and white blonde hair. And Holmes was apparently very enamoured with her and her with him.
I thought you were going to say giant boobs. I don't know why.
Probably.
She had giant breasts. Giant blue eyes. Okay, she had giant eyes.
Yeah, big eyes.
I can't imagine what that looks like.
I don't know.
It's giant.
I don't know. No idea. He again courted her very quickly and they married. She also had a 168-acre farm in Indiana.
Wow.
She was an heiress. He took on a new name, Henry Mansfield Howard, HMH. Anyway, so after getting married, they travelled to Texas to claim Minnie's land. But before he did this, he briefly stopped in Chicago to take out another life insurance policy, but this time on Benjamin Pitezel's life, his accomplice. $10,000. Remember that the land Minnie transferred in Holmes and Pitezel's names under aliases. That was a land he was going to claim in Texas. His plan was to build a new Fort Worth murder castle. He sent Benjamin ahead of him to start the claim for the land while they were in Chicago. So this is... Yeah,
he wants a second house.
Yes.
Castle.
So he's fled Chicago because he's been charged with insurance fraud. So he can no longer continue in Chicago. Yeah. So now his plan is to build a new one in Fort Worth, Texas, on Minnie's land that he's killed. He killed Minnie.
And he gets all this money to do this from...
bad checks. He never pays anyone, or hardly ever.
Or pays all credit.
Or pays a portion and then, promises that he'll pay the rest, you know what I mean? By the time Holmes and Georgina arrived, Benjamin had been there a few weeks organising transfers of the land from the alias's names into Holmes's name. So whilst the plan for the new murder castle was underway, Holmes and Pitezel began another scheme, which was travelling around the state, buying horses with bad checks and not cash. Then they would sell them for cash quickly and move on before the seller figured out they were scammed. This plan fell apart and they were both caught and arrested. Somehow they got out on bail and Holmes and Georgina fled to St. Louis. So he's now on the run for arson and horse thievery.
I believe stealing horses back then was a really big thing.
Yes, big deal.
So that was the main mode of transportation.
You could be hanged for that.
Yeah. Right? You shouldn't steal someone else's horse back then, that's for sure.
No, so rude. So St. Louis is only 4 hours from Chicago, so it was a bit of a risk for him to go there. But Georgina was turning 25 in the fall, and that's when her inheritance would be given to her. She'd be given her estate, and that's in St. Louis. So he had to stick around if he wanted to cash in on that.
Yeah.
After they arrived in St. Louis, he called himself H.M. Howard, or he was still calling himself H.M. Howard, and bought a drugstore again.
It's repeating a pattern.
Isn't he? He used a little bit of cash, but mostly bad checks, to purchase this drugstore. Benjamin joined them with his wife, Kerry, and his 5 children.
Oh, my God.
Yep. This is where they concocted a new scheme that they roped Ben's wife in on. And this is the scheme that will be Benjamin's downfall and spark a huge murder spree for Holmes.
And not excellent. Okay.
Not excellent. Horrid. The plan was to fake Ben's death, quote unquote fake, to cash in on the insurance policy that Holmes took out on him in Chicago. Remember the $10,000? So unfortunately for Holmes, he went to sell the drugstore, but the person he was trying to sell to figured out he bought it with bad checks, and he called the authorities, and Holmes was arrested on fraud charges in St. Louis now.
Poor guy.
He was in jail for 2 weeks. And he was bailed out by Georgina. Whilst he was in jail, he made some dodgy connections, including a dodgy lawyer called H.H Howe, who agreed to help Holmes and Benjamin pull off the insurance fraud scheme. So he's making connections, going into jail, getting out. So on July 17th, 1894, Benjamin left to Philadelphia to meet with Holmes and Georgina to do this scheme. Holmes told Ben to open a business under the name B.F. Perry. So once Ben had established this business, the plan was that the lawyer, H.H Howe, would connect them with a corpse similar to Benjamin.
A corpse who looked similar to him.
Yep.
Wow, they are planning.
They're planning. The plan is planning. So that they could plant in the business building and disfigure the corpse, so much so that they could pass it off as Pitezel's body without much suspicion. Then Ben would go into hiding, and Holmes and Pitezel's wife, Kerry, would split the $10,000 insurance payout. And then they'll be reunited. That was the plan. Unfortunately, Ben couldn't go through with the scheme and told Holmes that his youngest child was sick, which he was. Like, Kerry sent him a letter and said, your youngest is sick, I need your help. Because they had 5 kids and had to travel back to where his family was in St. Louis to take care of his kid.
So he had to travel back. Okay.
Yep. Now, this pissed off Holmes, right the fuck off. And now Benjamin was he was a heavy drinker.
What a fucking narcissist.
Yeah, it pissed him off. He was like, don't fuck with my schemes. So he basically decided then and there to just kill Benjamin for real.
Oh, my God.
And cash
How
in.
dare your child be sick?
I know.
I'm going to fucking kill you because you fucked my planner. Holy shit.
Yep.
He is ruthless.
Yep. He is ruthless. He doesn't give a fuck about anyone. Anyone
and
or
he's
anything.
pretending to be this guy's friend.
Yeah. It's not. He's not his mate. They're not real friends.
And he's met his children.
Yep.
Fuck.
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
So Ben was a heavy drinker. And one day Holmes stumbled upon him drunk before he went back to be with his kids. Right. And he was passed out in the business. So he was like, ooh, what an opportunity.
Yeah. Yes.
So Holmes tied his hands and feet and soaked his entire body in alcohol.
Oh, my God, no.
He burned him alive.
Why alive? Oh, I guess for
because he's a hateful son of a bitch.
Added torture. Stupid question.
He doesn't give a fuck. Burned him alive.
We always ask those questions. Why did they do that?
No, there's no reason.
Because we're not them.
Yep. Once the body was burned beyond recognition, he removed the bindings and poured into his stomach chloroform and then staged the scene that made it look like Ben tried to light his pipe too close to all the flammable liquids around the business and accidentally set himself on fire.
And why did he put chloroform inside of him?
Yeah, I don't know, and I still don't know to this day.
Okay.
And insurance companies ask that question too, following autopsy. I don't know. He was probably trying to make it look like a suicide as well.
Yeah, like he drank chloroform.
Don't know.
So he pumped it into his stomach.
Yeah, he just poured it down his throat somehow. I'm not sure how.
Well, that's not very convincing then, is it?
No, not at all.
You'd need to get it in the stomach if you wanted to be like...
You'd have to get him to
swallowed
swallow.
it. Yeah.
It'd be in his lungs and everything.
Or just put it down the right hole, right, if he's dead already.
But imagine
put it down
playing
the
with a badly burnt corpse.
I know.
Like what?
I didn't think about that
when
just
you
then.
really just fucking break it down, you're like, you are so deranged.
Jesus, that is just making me think of like all these serial killers that have done the most fucked up
horrific shit. How do they do it?
Like that one guy who like took the faces off people.
Yeah, what?
Just put them in jars and...
Ed Gein, yeah.
I don't know who.
It's Ed Gein.
There's a few. Are you sure that... I feel like there's a few that have done stuff like that.
There's only one. I think there's only one.
Really?
Ed Gein. He wore the faces.
Ed Gein.
Yeah, he had like
And he loved
body
it.
parts and bits all over
Of
his
women.
house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Specifically.
He was
He'd,
mentally ill, severely.
To be, yeah.
2 days later, Ben's body was discovered by a co-worker of the business and then called the police.
Oh,
The body was brought in for an autopsy and the coroner couldn't determine the cause of death because it's the 1800s, I don't know. They performed an inquest and they determined that the chloroform in the stomach set off alarm bells and that the scene looked staged.
So they were able to tell that was chloroform somehow.
Yeah. Yeah,
However, they tested for that back then. I
Yeah,
wonder.
not sure. It's very interesting.
I would just love to know all these details.
I
That's
know.
all. It's very medical sort of in a way.
Maybe we could do an
bit.
episode on just deep diving what they did in the 1800s medically. Like,
That is a great idea.
yeah, it might be fascinating. Okay.
Let's do it.
They determined it wasn't an accident, so because he had that business under an alias, he was buried in a random lot under that name. So his family will never know where he was buried.
Jesus Christ. He's torturing everyone, this guy. Not just his victims, but their family too.
So he'll be exhumed, don't worry. Also, word of Pitezel's death reached the family before Holmes could get there and lie to them. Carrie Pitezel was inconsolable. He then lied to Carrie anyway and said that, don't worry, Ben's actually still alive. And it's just part of the scheme.
Oh my God.
He said it'll come out of hiding when the insurance money is claimed. And he said that they needed someone to go with him and actually say it's Ben Pitezel and not B.F. Perry, the alias, so that they can get the money, right? Because they're not going to get any insurance under B.F. Perry. So he was like, a family member needs to come and identify the body. But he was like, if Carrie Pitezel comes, she's going to know that it's him that's dead. And at this minute, I've told her that he's alive and in hiding. So I'm going to say, just bring your daughter. I'll take your daughter. One of his second oldest. I think she was like 16 or something. Alice. So Carrie agreed, In the meantime, Jack DeHowe, the lawyer, started drafting documents that would give Holmes power of attorney over Carrie, Pitezel's wife. That would result in Holmes being able to claim the entire $10,000. So the lawyer's in on killing Ben for real. So 6 days after his death, the insurance company received a telegram that the person was actually Ben Pitezel and that because they already suspected the death was more of a murder, they decided to investigate a little further.
The death was more of a murder.
Yeah, before they paid out the life insurance to Ben's teenage daughter. They took a look at the policy and discovered that the only other name on the life insurance policy was H.H. Holmes. So they reached out to Myrta, his second wife, in Chicago, and she got in touch with Holmes and tipped him off that they're looking into it. His abandoned wife, Myrta.
She's protecting him.
Yeah.
Wow.
The fuck. So Holmes got in touch with the insurance company and said he was coming with a family member to identify the body. His daughter Alice viewed the body in a shed and he was in an advanced state of decomposition after the exhumation. They pointed out his dentition was unique and presented his teeth so that Alice could view. And she said they appeared to be like her papa's. Poor thing.
Sorry, I'm just thinking, did they take the teeth out?
No, what they did was they draped... because he was so disfigured and, they didn't want to concern her, so they just, draped the body up until the jaw and the head, and then they just opened the mouth and said, does this look like your dad's teeth? Okay. And she was like, yes, they appeared to be.
Okay.
But she was... I don't know how much she knew. I don't know how much Alice knew about whether her dad was dead or not, because Holmes told her mother that he was not dead and he was just in hiding. So I'm assuming that's what she knew too.
Yeah.
But she went and identified the body and said the teeth look like her dad's. So I'm wondering if she was like, is this really dad? But she's a kid, so maybe she thought, I'll just lie,
Or she's been convinced that it is him.
Maybe they've roped all the kids in on the scheme. I
wonder.
But because she's a kid, she doesn't quite know that whether it's her dad or not.
I used to do that with kids all the time those days. Get kids on the street to do shit for you.
True.
Pay them.
True.
Can't do that these days. At least here you can't, but it used to
they
be like that.
Yeah, they would manipulate kids a lot.
Yeah, do the dirty work for criminals, and so they would pay them pocket money.
So Holmes then claimed the $10,000 apparently worked and got it and returned with Alice to St. Louis. Wow. He gave the lawyer $2,500 as payment for his dodgy documentation and then only gave Carrie $500 out of the $10,000.
Well.
He said he's keeping the rest because her husband owed him money.
Oh.
For when he bailed him out of jail with bad checks. Such a cunt.
He's just decided.
Yeah, he did. Now Carrie wants her husband back, obviously. So she demanded that. She's got 5 kids. She needs help with them. And she wants her fucking husband back because he's her husband. Right?
Enough, yeah.
So Holmes said in the meantime, because he has to be in hiding for a while, he will take 3 of her kids to his cousins, Minnie Williams, who, by the way, is his dead fake wife.
Yep.
Right? Sounds legit. You know, just to help her out while Ben's on his way back because he's apparently ages away, you know? Carrie agreed and she transferred custody of Nellie, Alice and Howard to Holmes. Not sure why.
Okay.
He still had Alice, and so he took the 3 kids to Indiana to stay with his dead fake wife, Minnie Williams. Or that's what he said he would do. This is really yuck. This is really yuck and bad.
Fake wife.
Trigger warning, dead kids, okay?
Oh, no.
I know.
Oh,
I know.
Why are we going there?
Because he's horrid. Meanwhile, a police officer called the insurance company that just paid out the $10,000 to Holmes. They had received some intelligence from a prisoner who Holmes bragged to about the Pitezel insurance scheme whilst he was in jail for horse thievery. He basically had 25 years on his life, this prisoner, on his sentence.
Yeah.
And wanted to get the fuck out. So he was like, he squealed like a fucking pig about this insurance scheme to the cops, who then went to the insurance company, Detective Gary. Gary? Have you watched Team America? America, fuck yeah.
No.
Okay, you won't get the reference. Anyway,
No, I'm just
on.
enjoying watching you crack up.
Gary.
It's funny. I don't know what you're laughing about, but it's funny. So
it's basically a bunch of puppets, and it's Team America. You have to watch it. It's hilarious.
Do I? Okay.
Yes. Maybe we'll have a little sleepover and watch Team America.
Yeah, well, we will.
You'd love it. Holmes at this time took the children to Indianapolis and set them up in a hotel while he and Georgina stayed elsewhere, attempting new schemes. The children attempted to write to their mother, and in one letter asked why she had not written them.
Aww.
Carrie had written to her children, but Holmes was intercepting them. Holmes rented a house there and also bought a large oak stove and surgical tools. In early October, Holmes brought the youngest, Howard Pitezel, 10 years old, to the rented house, gave him a fatal dose of cyanide and wolfsbane, most likely in his food, which he died from, and he dismembered him and put him in the stove and scattered his body.
In the stove?
Burnt his body in the stove, dismembered him into bits, put them in the stove, burnt them, and then scattered the bones and shit.
Where did he scatter them?
They don't know. They never found him.
This guy doesn't really have, like, one particular way of killing, does he?
Nah, he just sort of does what he wants in the moment.
Yeah, whatever comes to him.
Mm-hmm. Fucked, right?
Strange. He doesn't have, like, a... Like, yeah, he's got a pattern, I guess. He
pattern is
picks up
people
women.
for money.
Yeah, mainly women, but also men to get their money and then kill them,
Yeah.
But the way he kills, he's got all these different methods, doesn't he?
Yep. It sort of indicates that he's not doing it specifically for some sort of, like, sexual pleasure or
he's just
thirst
a psycho
for killing. He just does it out of his own selfish interest, is my theory.
Yeah.
All right, so he then collected the other 2 children and took Georgina as well to Detroit. So at this point, he's just jumping around the fucking country, okay? So just try and keep up. Alice was freaking out and wrote letters to her grandparents, complaining of being alone all the time and not hearing from her mother and not knowing where Howard had gone. What she didn't know was that Holmes had written to Carrie to get her to come to Detroit as well, to be reunited with her husband, and she was staying in a hotel only a few blocks away from where the kids were. When Carrie arrived with her small son, Holmes said that they will have to wait a bit longer because it was too heavily populated for her to be reunited with Ben. So he's just like lying through his teeth.
What the fuck does... That is such...
He drags this woman all over the country and saying, oh, he's going to be here. No, wait, he's over here. No, wait, he's over here. It's fucked. I don't know how she agreed to go every single time, but she does.
Well, she probably feels like she's got no other option.
Yeah.
If she's... She must be pretty desperate, right?
All the while she thinks her other 3 kids are
safe
at Minnie's house or whatever. Anyway.
This poor lady.
I know. Then he said that Ben was waiting for her in Toronto, Canada, and she should travel there. And he would meet her with the 3 children once he collected them from his cousins, Minnie. Carrie started to become concerned and demanded he return her kids now, but he managed to convince her to go, so they all travelled to Canada separately. He checked them into a hotel in Toronto under an alias and said, oh my God, you just missed Ben. He's now in Montreal. He put her on a train and she went to Montreal, which is wild, while he and the children and Georgina stayed in Toronto.
So he has all of the children now?
No, she still has 2 kids.
Oh, right.
Yep, she's got the baby and her oldest daughter, who was 16. Mm-hmm. He then placed the children in a rental in Toronto and then checked Georgina into another hotel. So he just separates them all and tells them different things so that everyone, remains, content.
Compliant.
Yeah, and compliant, correct. So on October 24th, he dug a grave in the basement of that rental. He took a large trunk to the house and cut a hole in it. He put both Alice and Nellie in the trunk and gassed them to death.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. He then took them out, stripped them of their clothing and buried them in the basement of the rental. The next day, he stuffed their belongings into the chimney and burned them, and then he left Toronto.
So this is at his new murder castle that he's made?
No. So the plans for the Texas murder house were abandoned for the Pitezel scheme.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I've gotten my lines crossed there.
That's all good.
So he's still able to bury their bodies in the basement of this house, though?
So he would do short leases in random houses, commit a murder, and then just, move away. Mm-hmm. So...
But he would bury them?
Yeah, he buried them in the basement.
How? Isn't a basement usually...
It's old style.
Concreted?
Might have been. Obviously not. It must have just been wooden planks, which you can easily rip up.
Dirt underneath,
or just
maybe?
Compacted dirt, maybe just underneath the house type thing. Not sure.
I know that there are, plenty of killers that have done that sort of thing, obviously.
Yeah.
And a lot of them just sort of end up dumping the bodies and just have a collection down there. Mm-hmm. So he went to burying them. He went to quite
he did
far
all different
lengths
types
of
things.
Concealing his crimes, yeah.
Yeah. Well, he did with these kids, yeah. Yeah, no idea where Minnie and Nellie Williams' bodies went. Mm. Oh, actually, we find out in part 3.
Oh, okay.
And that's a nice segue because that's the end of part 2. I know, that was I was like, what am I trying to think of what I was going to say? So that's the end of part 2 because that was a lot. We need you to just sit and process all of that all of those shenanigans. So the 3 children are dead. Ben is dead. He's married to Georgina and he's running from 3 warrants. Carrie, the mother.
Yes.
She's in Montreal now.
Oh,
he went to fucking Montreal.
See, I'm behind too.
Because apparently her husband's there, but he's not. He's dead. So yeah, this is crazy, right? We've moved on to from the murder castle to just crazy jumping around the countryside.
He must be so incredibly convincing and manipulative.
Imagine the anxiety you would have on the daily with all of the lies that you've concocted, all of the creditors coming after you, all of the fucking warrants out for your arrest.
Or no anxiety at all.
He clearly didn't have anxiety, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
But a normal person would. I couldn't keep up with any. I can barely keep up with one lie. I'll tell a lie and forget I told it. And I'll just tell the truth the next day and I'll be like, oh, fuck. Hunter, one of the fishes died, unfortunately. We don't really know why, but it just died. Fishes die. And I told Ruby and I forgot. I just neglected to tell Hunter because I was planning on just getting a replacement fish because Hunter's very attached to the fish. Aww. Very attached. And then I was in the car the other day. So I was lying by omission, right?
Yeah.
You
haven't told him.
In the car yesterday, Ruby goes, hey, Ma. Hunter's in the front seat.
Of course.
Hey, Mum, you know how that fish died? You know how that fish died? And I just just slowly turned my head to Ruby with my eyeballs wide. Hunter looks at me, he's like, what?
Aww.
I was caught out. So there you go. I can't even keep up with one.
And what happened? Is he
Deception.
Okay? Or?
He cried.
Aww.
He's all right. I said we'd get another one if he wants. And he said, yeah. But I did warn them from the get that fish were fragile.
Yeah.
And that they would more likely than not die. I warned them from the get because I was like, I can't promise that I'll be able to keep these fucking fish alive.
No, you can't make false promises. It's an animal.
Yeah.
They die.
That's it. We lost a fish. Anyway.
I fucking cried when one of my beta fish died.
I'm sure you did.
Yeah. Well, because I had to technically euthanize him.
Oh, fuck.
He was suffering. He had that swim bladder. I had a beta fish, so I had to do the clove oil method.
Don't know what that is, but it sounds horrific.
Yeah, you put them in just a little cup with their normal tank water, and then you just slowly add clove oil, and it slowly covers their gills, and they go to sleep, and then they stop breathing and they suffocate.
It's somewhat humane.
Yeah.
Okay, instead of just putting them out of the water and having them suffocate.
No, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, okay.
No, it sedates them.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And then
it's an anaesthetic.
You just keep putting more and more until they're fully asleep, and then you can...
Tastes terrible, that
dump
stuff.
Them. Really?
Yeah, I had to use it for my dry socket.
Really?
Yeah, I had a dry socket after I got my wisdom tooth removed.
Clove oil?
Yeah, it's a local.
Yeah.
It tastes terrible, though.
Okay. Well, hopefully my fish didn't taste it, but hopefully he was sufficiently anaesthetised. Yeah, but that was fucking... That was sad.
Yeah, I bet it was.
I didn't like doing that. That's why I couldn't be a vet. I cried over having to put a fish down. I couldn't be
when
a
your
vet.
pets die.
Yeah.
You know? Anyway.
Poor guy.
We're going to go record part 3 now, so see you in a week. Do all the things. Follow us on Instagram. Check out our new fucking pod studio setup. We've got... did we
so
even
cool!
How cool is that?
Love it. And also... I've been making some pendants.
Okay.
They're like little sun ray pendant things. And what I've done is I've melted down just sterling silver jewellery that I have. And I've been banging them out and You're working really hard. Anyway, so they'll hopefully be ready in a week or 2 and I'll upload them onto the Etsy store.
Period. Can't wait to see.
Anyway, I've literally given myself arthritis in
because of the way that you're
right
making the jewellery.
Thumb. Oh. Yeah, because it's so fucking painful sometimes hammering.
Oh dear.
But I was actually going to ask if I could bring my shit here and hammer like on your bricks or something because it's so loud, but I forgot.
You can do that.
It's too late.
Hammer away.
It's too late. I'll do it
next time.
Yeah.
Anyway, cool. All right. Well, send us a nursing nightmare fuel if you feel so inclined, and follow the Instagram. We'll see you in the next one. Love yous.
Bye.
Bye.